Hey folks, welcome back to the Feroz Mode channel. Today we're going to talk about my sway bars and end links on the car. I know a lot of you guys have been really looking forward to a proper review on this guy, and now that I've driven on it for about a good week or two now, we could talk about what it's like on the car. Do I think it's worth it? And is it really worth your hard-earned money to spend on these cars? So just to recap, I had the white line front and rear sway bars. I got them at a pretty nice discount online. I've been hunting for a good deal for a while. I found one for together both being around 310 bucks shipped to my door, so I just went for it. And so far, everything's been great. The install was actually a breeze. I had the help of my father and my good friend John Page, and they kind of made this light work when it came to doing everything. Of course, with the lift, it does a good job. I know a lot of folks say you have to take the bumper off or not the bumper, but all the plastics under, and we did not have to do that. Thankfully, I watched the Fly Miata video, and they helped a lot with just some little tips and tricks to get that going. For the rear, of course, super easy and simple. I did not get the chance to record the install as we were kind of pressed on time, but it was not too bad. When it comes to the rear, of course, you just have the 12 mils, take out those retaining areas and the end links. So thankfully, kind of got the end links as preventative maintenance, and I did notice that the end links on my car were actually ripped and torn, so they were on their way out already. With swapping everything out, it was kind of a breeze, especially with the rear. Just undid the end link in the bottom, swung them up, and then took it out. For the new guy, made sure you lubed the new bushings, everything, put them back on and slapped on. So that wasn't hard. For the end links, I adjusted them to the tightest spot, since that seems to be with the rear, especially with the car lowered now. You want to make sure you're maintaining that geometry. And then I did the final tightenings and adjustings once the car was fully settled and stagnant on the ground. Now, when it comes to the front of the car, the kind of tips and trick I'll give you guys was, of course, you have to get it up. And then I removed the front wheel here. And for each side, taking off the sway bar for that part's fine. I took off the bushing, and then I hopped into the car and turned the steering wheel all the way to one side. That gives you just enough to slip it over the tie rod. My dad, I mean, he's a strong guy, so he muscled it slightly over. I did make sure to tell him to be careful of all the, there's a lot of pipes and tubing inside the middle here with the radiator, so you want to be careful. But once we flipped that over, I switched the wheel the other side, went to this one. He also popped it over, and then we fished out the bar. Now, the OEM bar is a bit thinner. Not gonna have an issue. I know with guys running like the Progress bars or anything, those guys are massive, so fitting that bigger tube might be a bit tighter and harder to get in. But with the white line being more of a solid bar, I believe it was only slightly thicker in diameter, and we fished it in and got it in that way. So once that was done, we had to play around with the Fly Miata adjustable end links. Want to make sure it's an even thread edge as it goes down. Put it down connected. I have it set to the softer in the front and middle in the rear. Now, this is a thing I want to break up and talk to you guys in the comments. I'm really not sure what to set this car at. I know a lot of folks just say just go around and play with it, but it is kind of a pain to go on the ground and keep swapping it out. No, it's not the worst thing, but how I have the car set up right now, it is very, very neutral. I want to say once it's getting towards the limit, the car likes to kind of understeer and oversteer at the same time. I hope that makes sense, but it feels like the car's almost four-wheel drifting, but it's not bad. I know for a street car primarily, this is kind of a safer, fun, fast route, and the car is definitely faster. And by faster, I mean just feels more composed. Of course, there's less body roll now with the anti-sway bar doing its job. That's making me kind of realize how inadequate these seats are. I've done a practice with the test loop. You guys have seen me drive around and everything, and it feels great. One thing I kind of messed up was I didn't really torque or make sure everything was done. I kind of rushed the job, and there was some clunking and movement in the back, and I found out, yes, the end links were a little loose, so I retightened everything, and then also I torqued properly all the bushing mounts. You can't put them too tight because you actually squeeze out the grease and stuff and they start binding. So you can't really, this car, or like any car, you cannot rush and make sure that everything is kind of done to spec. Because suspension wise, I mean, you really feel the difference. But in regards to everything, I think it was a well worth mod for the money. I can't say how the difference is between having it with the OEM dampers and everything, but when it comes to this, guys, I mean, having these two together really makes the whole deal. I quarter balanced it actually. I had my friend John Page sitting there with a weight to kind of mimic my weight in the car, and that's what I set up with the preload and everything in the thing. So I'm sure it's probably slightly off, but it's as close as I could get it to what it is, and the car feels so flat and agile in the turns. The best thing I say is, like I said, the coilovers did the primarily bulk in removing a lot of that front dive heap swaying and everything. Like even this car, you could just like barely move it because it's so stiff. In regards to other coilover setups, it's way stiffer. So this guy's kind of soft in the realm of other coilover setups, but this now removes a lot of that lateral movement. It's not completely gone because we still want to have some communication with the car, but I know Mazda likes to have their philosophy of having the car really communicate and boat and wallow with you, but this car is now an agile weapon, guys. It is so flat and fast in the turns. Just the confidence you get with that turn in now, it just feels so composed. Composure is the word. When it comes to now with my tires, since these are the Michelin Pilot All-Season 4s, I definitely can feel how squishy these guys are, because it seems like in some ways, you know, that sidewall that I'm now leaning on is very mushy, mouchade. It's not giving me the most dialed and quick reaction. Now, I know down the line we're going to be swapping out some wheels and tires to make sure this guy has a bit more adequate grip. What I'm going to end up doing, I am not sure, but right now as a stage 1.5, whatever stage you want to call it, the car is very, very happy. I am in no means disappointed with all the mods I've done. I think I've done a great job in researching everything I need to do to get this car where it has to be, and it just feels so fun and so freaking fast. So if anything, I'm considering maybe changing the settings of the sway bar to go towards more biased towards the front with stiffer. Everyone I've been talking to says just have a super stiff front and don't even touch the rear, or just have it kind of soft in the rear and everything. And I know for stiffer setups, maybe that's better. I know having a loose rear in this car, it does feel a little spooky with how short the wheelbase is. You're gonna spin it like a top, but having the front kind of plow as you're moving in does feel fast. So I don't know, it's tough. I really want to test this, of course, on like an autocross or a test track or something to be in a more safe environment, because doing it in the streets kind of, in other words, very silly. So I have an idea of how the car reacts, but I don't actually know once it's fully gone, and I don't really want to find out on the street. So we'll see where we go. If you guys have a similar setup, let me know what you're running and kind of how the car is setting up and biased. Also want to know if you think this is in a good spot and everything, and if I'm doing everything right. I think I am with progression of this car and everything. I think all the mods I've done have been just so well worth it, and it's just transforming it to get closer to what I want out of this car. I'm going to try to get back to the mountains to give another proper thrashing and test. I'm sure you guys will see me drive with more POV drives on the channel. So that's a bit of rambling from me. I really wanted to do an install video for you guys, but I don't always do things the best way. And I'm kind of glad I didn't for this one, because I was rechecking and torquing my work, which I should have done from the get-go. So if you take anything from this, just take your time, make sure you're torquing everything to spec, just really enjoy it and have fun playing with it. I think it's so worth it. I know some folks like to just do sway bars because they don't want to ruin the ride, and I think that helps a lot too, just allowing you to, you know, really maximize your camber. Once you're in a turn, you're just kind of using all of it in that proper grip range, but can't complain, can't complain. I am loving this car ever more and more, and that is all from me. If you guys enjoyed watching this kind of technical deep dive with this car and my review of these sway bars, I'd say it is a definite recommendation. So that's all from me. If you guys enjoy this content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is your host, Feroz Moto, and I'll catch you in the next video.